Now at 10 and streaming crossroadstoday.com, we highlight District 30 candidates as Election Day nears in just 4 weeks. Plus, taxpayers face an 8-cent hike if voters approve Industrial ISD's pay raise proposal. And the head of the local Salvation Army is traveling to Florida to help set up an emergency operations center ahead of Hurricane Milton.
We will have the latest coordinates on Milton. As you can see, it's a major storm at a Category 5. It'll weaken somewhat, but it is going to be slamming into the Florida coast tomorrow night at this time. We'll have the latest for you coming up.
And Victoria East Titans are ready for a huge game on the road in San Antonio. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry. Don Brubaker is off tonight. A man is on life support after leading Port Lavaca police on a high-speed chase. An officer tried to stop a motorcyclist for an expired registration. Police say the rider, 20-year-old Jonathan Craig Smith Jr., refused to pull over and led officers on a chase. Authorities say Smith was wanted on a weapons charge in Greeley, Colorado. Police say Smith crashed into a car after running a red light at Highway 35 and Half League in Port Lavaca. Smith was airlifted to a San Antonio hospital where he remains on life support. Other drivers involved were treated at local hospitals. The Texas DPS is now investigating the incident. Well, Election Day is 4 weeks from today. New at 10 tonight, we're putting a spotlight on the state representative District 30 race. The two candidates vying for the seat are Republican A.J. Louderback and Democrat Stephanie Bassam. Bassam wants to leave behind a legacy of progress that the district can celebrate. She says she aims to work towards fairer wages and expanded health care access. Bassam makes her case for House District 30 as she says she is for the people, not the power.
Making sure that our communities are safe and that the people who live in our communities feel safe as well. Moving from a place of integrity and the things that I say and do and the actions that I take. Inclusivity is also very, very important to me. Making sure that everyone who lives in our community is a part of our community and has a voice.
Need to be certified because if you have
Republican A.J. Louderback also says he's for the people and ensuring our state's safety is one of his top priorities.
You know, first and foremost, I hope to make Texas as good as we can for the border crisis that's going on. And, you know, that November 5th will tell the tale will answer a lot of those questions here for the crossroads and for our state and for our country.
Louderback and Bassam will be on the ballot on Election Day, which is November 5th. Well, Industrial ISD is hosting a series of meetings that can potentially benefit the voters in the school district. There's also an incentive for teachers and staff. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joins us with more on the purpose of these meetings. Trenton.
Shauna, thank you. Industrial ISD is hosting an informational community meetings for voters. One was this evening to share details on the upcoming voter-approved tax rate election, or VATRE. The district is asking voters to approve a tax rate that will bring in additional revenue for maintenance and operations, which will then be used to pay increases to teachers and staff. If approved, taxpayers will see an 8-cent increase to the school tax rate. This could generate around $635,000 for Industrial ISD. If you didn't make it to tonight's meetings, another community meeting will be on Thursday at 6 at the Industrial Elementary West cafeteria. There will be a presentation followed by time for questions and answers. To read more, you can visit www.industrialisd.org. Back to you, Shauna.
All right, thanks a lot, Trenton. Well, 4 local counties are now under a burn ban. As of this morning, burning is no longer allowed in Matagorda County. This adds to burn bans already in place for DeWitt, Lavaca, and Wharton counties. Those burn bans will remain in effect until the areas receive enough rainfall to lower the fire risk. And we're not expecting any rain here, but we are keeping an eye on Hurricane Milton, which is strengthening in the Gulf of Mexico. First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez joins us with the latest. Mac.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Well, the storm center is now back out over water. That's how why it has re-strengthened. It's back up to Category 5. You can very clearly see the eye of the storm leaving the Yucatan Peninsula, where it raked the northern clip of the peninsula there. The storm center will continue pretty much going toward Tampa, Florida, and all of the west coast of Florida is under the gun. The path has dropped a little bit farther south, so I'm thinking Miami is not going to have a pretty day beginning tomorrow. So a lot of people on the East Coast are going to be dealing with this beginning tomorrow night, and we'll have more on that coming up in just a moment. Shauna, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Mac. Well, it may not just be speed, but size that makes Hurricane Milton so catastrophically dangerous. Milton, currently a Category 5 storm, is likely to double in size. Lee Waldman is in Tampa, where most residents appear to be listening to the dire warnings from officials.
If you choose to stay, you're staying at your own risk.
That's a huge risk, with monstrous Hurricane Milton on track to deliver a storm surge, more than double what Helene wrought on Florida's Gulf Coast less than 2 weeks ago. Tampa, Florida is a possible landfall site. That city's mayor even more blunt regarding the danger.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
This Tampa resident is one of thousands heeding that advice. He's bugging out of Tampa with his wife on their 46th wedding anniversary.
What God will give us, we will accept it and always go to the safe place you can go. We'll see.
Also critical, clearing out debris left behind by Helene.
All hands on deck trying to help out the city as much as we can before the big storm comes.
This moving company is one of many being commissioned by local officials to work the coastal areas around the clock.
We hauled close to 100 tons of debris just yesterday alone.
But soon these crews will have to stop helping others and save themselves.
This storm's going to be different. If you're in an evacuation zone, please get out.
And if there's any doubt, veteran Florida meteorologist John Morales may offer some clarity.
It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
The leader of the local Salvation Army is heading to Florida to help establish an emergency operations center there. Captain Kenny Jones and others will clean debris and damage from Hurricane Helene while also helping residents from the fallout of impending Hurricane Milton. Red Cross has representatives on the ground in Florida already with 20 to 50 mobile feeding units. Jones expressed the importance of organizations offering support during emergency situations.
Well, it's so important during the time when the power is out or when literally you've had to leave your house because it's been destroyed, that you have an opportunity to get a hot meal and then rations throughout the day. It's hard enough to lose your home.
Jones urges people who are able to donate to hurricane relief efforts in the affected areas. To do so, you can visit salvationarmy.org. And local quilters are creating blankets and gathering donations for hurricane victims in North Carolina. You can read the full story on our website, crossroadstoday.com. In other Texas news, a former Houston police officer is sentenced to 60 years in prison for murdering a couple during a drug raid, which revealed corruption in the Houston Narcotics Unit. Gerald Goins was convicted for the deaths of the couple who were shot after officers entered their home with a no-knock warrant. Goins, who had been out on bond since the 2019 incident, showed no reaction as he received his sentence. Prosecutors stated he falsely claimed an informant had bought heroin at the couple's home, leading to the deadly confrontation. Goins also faces federal charges with civil rights lawsuits set for trial in November. Charges against TikTok personality Tyron Thomas, also known as Mr. Prada, have been upgraded to first-degree murder. Thomas allegedly killed 69-year-old therapist Dr. Nick Abraham in Louisiana. This change allows for the death penalty if convicted. Thomas was arrested in Dallas on October 1st after fleeing with Abraham's car. He was extradited to Louisiana and booked into jail there. Surveillance footage showed Abraham entering Thomas's apartment, and witnesses reported seeing Thomas dragging a tarp believed to contain Abraham's body, which was found the next day. The investigation is ongoing and no motive has been established. Remember to subscribe to our Crossroads Today YouTube channel. You can hit the like button and click the notification bell to be sure to get alerts whenever we upload new videos to YouTube. Well, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, an Afghan national is charged in an election day terror plot. We'll have details on what he planned to carry out. Well, budget deficit grows, hitting $1.8 trillion this year. Welcome back. An Afghan national is under arrest in Oklahoma for an alleged election day terror plot. The FBI arrested 27-year-old Nasir Ahmad Tawhedi on Monday. He's an Afghan citizen living in Oklahoma City. According to court documents, Tawhedi planned to carry out an election day November 5th attack in the name of ISIS. Authorities say in an interview after his arrest, Tawhedi allegedly confirmed the attack was intended to target large gatherings and that he was expected to die a martyr along with a juvenile co-conspirator. The DOJ says he was arrested while trying to purchase semi-automatic weapons and ammunition. Tawhedi has been charged with conspiring and attempting to provide material support to ISIS, which carries a maximum prison sentence of 20 years. He's also charged with receiving a firearm to be used to commit a felony or a federal crime of terrorism, which carries a maximum prison sentence of 15 years if convicted. Social media giant TikTok is now facing separate lawsuits filed by 14 states. Those states allege the social media company is causing mental health damage to younger people. The new lawsuit filed today wants to stop what the states call TikTok's exploitative tactics. The social media company responding, calling many of these claims inaccurate and misleading. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Social media platform TikTok sued on Tuesday by 14 states, saying harmful effects of its platform are, quote, wreaking havoc on the mental health of millions of American children and teenagers. More than a dozen states from California to New York are part of the lawsuit.
Because we wanted to protect children. It's as simple as that. Because nationwide, children and teens are struggling with significantly high rates of depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and other mental health issues, largely because of social media.
The lawsuit taking aim at TikTok's algorithms, calling them addictive, resulting in teens and kids to stay online for longer periods of time, which the lawsuits allege leads to mental health damage.
I think the algorithm can be seen as addictive because it's feeding back what you're looking for. Every time you scroll, you see a video that you like. The longer that you stay on that video, the more interest you show, the more likely you're going to see more videos like that.
Incidents like one in New York, just an example of the influence of social media. In New York, a 15-year-old boy died after subway surfing last year. The suit calling out this incident where videos were found on the teen's social media account promoting subway surfing in a challenge.
Social media and MTA, they failed my son.
ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton recommends parents set up guidelines to make sure their children understand the dangers.
General recommendations from the American Academy of Pediatrics. For example, children under 2 should have no screen time. Between 2 and 5, no more than 2 hours of screen time that is monitored by an adult. And then above the age of 5, for all of us, no more than 2 hours of screen time.
In a statement, TikTok responding to the lawsuit, saying for the past 2 years, they've been trying to work with the attorneys general to find constructive solutions to industry-wide challenges. The social media company goes on to say they are committed to the work they're doing to protect teens and improve their product. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And moving now to our viewer poll. If TikTok were to get banned or heavily restricted here in the U.S., which app would you turn to? Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat, or I wouldn't change. Down significantly from earlier, but I would not change is still leading with 43%. Right behind that, people saying that they would move over to Instagram Reels. So we appreciate everyone who voted this evening in our viewer poll. Well, yet again, the federal government spent far more than it collected in revenue for fiscal year 2024. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the budget deficit hit $1.8 trillion. Last fiscal year's deficit was $1.7 trillion. The continued fiscal imbalance could make it more difficult for Congress to reach a spending deal for fiscal year 2025 and to address the debt ceiling. Lawmakers struck a deal last month to fund the government until December 20th, avoiding a shutdown. The federal government spent $6.8 trillion in fiscal year 2024, about 10% more than the prior fiscal year. The FDA has approved the first at-home test to detect both flu and COVID. Today, the Food and Drug Administration granted marketing authorization for the Helgen Rapid Check COVID-19 Flu A and B antigen test. The test uses a nasal swab and takes approximately 15 minutes to test for COVID-19 and flu. Other over-the-counter combo tests are currently available under emergency use authorization, but the FDA says the full approval of this new test is especially important as the country enters the annual flu season. Well, parents and caregivers, does it feel like you and your kids are speaking a different language? As a parent of teens, I definitely can understand. The CDC has a few tips for promoting open and honest communication with the younger generation.
It's no secret that kids and teens don't always feel comfortable expressing their feelings and ideas, especially when it comes to sensitive topics. But regular communication can have a big impact on their health and well-being. To encourage conversations, try these 4 strategies. First, engage in active listening. That means letting your child share thoughts and feelings without interruption. Then repeat back what you've heard in your own words. Find out more about what they like and why they like it. Ask about interest and show real curiosity about their lives. Be the person they trust when they need an adult. Make it safe for them to share what's happening in their world without worrying that you'll be angry or punish them. Lastly, be patient and consistent. It may take time. The more opportunities you create to have a dialogue, the greater your chances of success. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're at 70 degrees right about now. That's about as cool as we get this time of night. Our high today managed to get up to 96. Now, it's supposed to be about 87. You know, here's October. We should start cooling down a little bit, but it's not happening this time. That's because we're on the backside of Milton, the hurricane. We're okay. Considering what's going on the East Coast, we don't have much to complain about. But we'll take a look at that and your forecast coming up after this. Well, good evening, everybody. With our sunshine, we've got another 7 days of no rain. We now have about 29, 30 days of no rain, and so it's not looking real good of us getting any rain over the next 10 days. We continue with that northerly wind, and of course that is the backside of the storm. The storm is very intense, and you can see how the winds pretty much all over the Gulf of Mexico are being influenced by that storm system. Last night the storm actually touched, but didn't touch, the eye did not touch, but it did drag across the Yucatan. Now it's out in open water and strengthening up. There you see the winds getting up to 150 miles an hour. For those of you that might be marking the coordinates, we're at 23.4 north, nope, 22.7 north and 88.4 west. That's the latest one right about there. And you can see that the storm is now in open water. That's why it re-strengthened again today. Our temperatures are running way above normal for this time of year. We're looking at 92 for tomorrow, and we're going to stay in the 90s through 7 days. So what you see today, we're going to be doing that for quite some time until that storm moves out, until the pattern changes. There you see the eye of the storm. It's pretty nasty looking right about there, and it is moving now to the northeast. Now, last night it was going east. Now it's northeast, and unfortunately it's headed toward Tampa Bay. Now, I was checking around, with the websites and everything, and Hillsborough County, which is the county where Tampa is located, reported that they had 5,000 people in emergency shelter. Why are they still in Hillsborough County is my question, but I'm hoping they figured that all out. Now, the storm path has dropped a little bit. Last night it was almost Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. Now it has turned a little bit far to the south, so it's below Tampa. So Fort Myers is going to get it strong. Then it crosses over the peninsula over to about Melbourne, Florida, Cape Canaveral, that area. And then it is going to be a Category 1 in the middle of the country, of the state, and it emerges as a Category 1. So that's still a hurricane. So it's going to be a major problem for the entire southern half of Florida. Now, looking elsewhere, we've got another area of potential development down here. I'm sorry to inform you, but on the 14th to the 17th, we may have another system to deal with. The Atlantic is still boiling out there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 systems that are churning out there. Fortunately, those are not going to bother us directly, but already the showers have begun in Florida, sort of the outer bands of the storm, and you can see how the rain is going to be getting heavy along the central and southern parts of the state, and there's the heaviest activity still offshore. By tomorrow morning, it'll be raining heavily throughout much of South Florida, and by tomorrow night at this time, the storm will be approaching land. Hopefully everybody got the message, got the word, got the note that it's time to get out of here because Milton's coming in. Looking for gorgeous weather for us, not much to talk about, sunny and warm. Getting up to 93 tomorrow in Cuero. Next 7 days, you can see right about here, it's a very simple forecast. Sunny, warm, and dry, staying in the low 90s through all the weekend. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Maxwell with sports, and it looks like volleyball.
Yeah, Tuesday night volleyball, Mac, and one player at Victoria East made some history tonight on the volleyball court. Find out who that is in sports. All right, everyone. So last week, the Victoria East Titans, they had their bye week in week 6, but they're back in action here on the road versus San Antonio MacArthur Brahmas. And I had a chance earlier today to talk to linebacker Caleb Alvarez, see how the team's looking at going into this week.
We're going to need a lot of people towards the ball to change the season. Right now, we still have a chance to make the playoffs, still have a chance to make a long run. First off, we need to have a lot of determination towards the ball. Right now, we're preparing for MacArthur. It should look like a good game. We're going to be good. We're back to healthy players. It looks like we're going to have a good week.
Alvarez said the Titans are hoping to finish district play strong. They're trying to get a big win in San Antonio this Friday night. Now from Victoria East for Ganado, the Indians, they're playing the 3rd game in district this week at home versus the Weimar Wildcats. And Ganado, in their first 2 district games, they took care of business, won 84-3 over Flatonia, 35-0 over Kennedy last week. And Ganado is a team that can make a deep postseason run, and that's led by because quarterback Bryce Ullman, and they have a top wide receiver in Austin Pena. But the running game has been improved a lot immensely with running back Logan Burrs, who stepped up for the Indians this season. And right now for Weimar, they're 1-0 in district play. They're 2-3 overall this season so far. In the past, though, Weimar was a top team in Division 2A Division 1 from last season. They went 10-3, but they're starting to slow this year. So they did have a win over Schulenburg last week, and they're hoping to get back-to-back wins, maybe a big upset win over Ganado. Will that happen? We will see. And speaking of upsets, for our viewer poll here tonight, I asked who will be on upset alert here in week 7. And at the 6 o'clock show, we kind of saw it was earlier. It was, again, Edna and Mathis had the lead, but that has changed overall. It is a tie between Edna and Mathis and Goliad and London. For you at home who thought who could be on upset alert. So see if that happens going in here to week 7 in this one. But for tonight, we had some volleyball action here for both Victoria teams, for East and West, on the volleyball court. First with Victoria West, they're looking to get their 9th straight win at home versus the Fort Bend Kemner Cougars, and they just won it, and they won in 3 sets. Again, another great night from Emily Parker, Tatum Boyce, and Avery Griffin, who helped out the team get a big-time win in district play. They play at Randall this Friday night in district again. Now, Victoria East, they also took care of business with a 3-set win over Richmond Randall. They won 25-14, 25-13 the second set, and then 25-16 the third set. They're 17-12 overall and 6-1 in district play. One of the stars was Addison Azuna, had 20 kills in the game, 11 digs, and a block. And Landry Odom had 4 kills, 5 digs, 3 aces in the game. And I just mentioned there Addison Azuda, and guess what she had tonight? She reached 2,000 kills in her entire career for Addison Azuda. She started at St. Joseph High School before she transferred to Victoria East, and Azuna celebrated with her teammates, as you can see there in that photo, and props up to her, and hopefully that can help out Victoria East make a run maybe later on to playoffs. That's going to do it here in sports. Shauna, back to you.
All right, awesome accomplishment. Thanks a lot, Max. Well, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather forecast. Plus, we'll have a look at the various musicians who will be part of a concert planned this month to raise funds for Hurricane Helene victims. Professor is one of 2 men receiving the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics for their work on artificial intelligence. The Nobel Committee announced that Princeton University professor John Hopfield is being given the honor alongside Geoffrey Hinton, who teaches at the University of Toronto. The 2 were praised for their foundational discoveries that enable machine learning with artificial neural networks. The prize carries a cash award of about $1 million, and AI is definitely something that, is every day now. Well, a musical event to raise money for Hurricane Helene victims is set for later this month. Concert for Carolina will be held at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina on October 26th. The headliners are James Taylor, Luke Combs, Eric Church, and Billy Strings. 2 in that group, Combs and Church, are natives of the Tar Heel State. Show organizers say all of the funds raised will go toward aid relief. The presenting sponsors of the upcoming concert, Explore Asheville and the Tourism Development Authority, have also pledged $1 million to the cause.
That's some big names helping out in a big cause right there. James
yes,
Taylor.
and a lot of big work still needs to go into, cleaning up.
And next month we'll have the one for Florida.
Yes.
Because there's going to have to be another.
Not looking good.
They're just getting into the cleanup, and then they're going to have
start all over again.
round.
Florida, tomorrow night at this time, the storm will be approaching the Florida coast, so it's going to be a lousy day over there. It's going to go down south real fast during the middle of the day, and by Thursday morning, we're going to find out what actually happened. Our weather continues on the beautiful side, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the 90s. Nighttime lows getting down to about 60 degrees, so that's not bad at all. One of the few things we have to be grateful for right about now.
Yeah, I can't imagine a double punch like that.
Back to back.
Yeah, all right. Well, tomorrow is National Emergency Nurses Day. They are typically the first people that you see in a medical emergency situation, and I'm sure that they're all hands on deck in Florida right now. The Emergency Nurses Association says roughly 167,000 emergency nurses work in the U.S. The ENA has marked the observance on the second Wednesday in October since 1989. The group celebrates ER nurses with giveaways, discounts, member highlights, and the annual EN Week 5K fundraiser. So if you know any emergency nurses, definitely be sure to thank them tomorrow. So thanks for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Join Carolina and Parker Cox for 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Have a great night.